Hello and welcome back to another speed build video. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Windenburg on a 20 by 20 lot, and today's build is a tiny home kind of container style that is definitely made for your more adventurous kind of Sims. This all started actually because of one item I found, which I'll point out a little later, but it is like this mountain gear that you can hang on the wall, and I just thought it was really cool and I've never really noticed it. It's from Snowy Escape, so I kind of wanted to do a build around that item. So this is what I came up with, and I think it turned out really cool, and it's definitely something very different because I don't usually play with Sims or do builds that are very sporty. I'm not a very sporty kind of person, so it was just fun to do something in a different kind of style and use items that I don't normally use. I discovered a lot of new items in this build because I don't normally do sporty kind of Sims. So you can see we've really gotten the kind of container shape all together so far. And this is a tier 2 tiny home, so it's 64 tiles. And so you'll get all those benefits in the game, but that does mean that I had to be a little careful with space, and it's definitely a little bit of a squishy build, but I really wanted there to be enough space to have a little workout zone, and that's what that tall area is in the corner. It's going to be like sort of a mini gym. The one piece I really wanted to use was we have like the rock climbing wall, and I definitely saw this being a rock climber's house, so I wanted to make sure that I could fit that in, which is why it had to be 2 stories high, but I think it ended up looking pretty cool, but I couldn't make it a full room because then I would have gone over the 64 tiles, so it's just kind of like this outdoor space, but I think should work really well for gameplay, and then it lets us keep that 64 tiles, which is very nice to have that benefit when building, or when playing, I mean. So you can see I'm working on the landscaping, and I kept it just really simple using a few different tones of greens, and I wanted to have this feel like it was a very foresty build, so I squished in as many pine trees as I could, and I think it came out really nicely. I got to use my favorite trees in the game, so I was very happy, the ones from Werewolves. And here you can see I'm doing a little basketball court on the back. I'm so glad I thought to put that there because there's just the perfect amount of space to add in a basketball hoop. And of course it works perfectly for this build with a kind of sporty spice sort of sim. That's what I kept thinking as I was building this. This is like my sporty spice house, which I feel like just tells you how much I know about sports. That Spice Girls is my reference. But anyways, you can see I'm just adding in a few more skill building items, and I really wanted to use these planters from high school years. You can find them in Live Edit. If you type in show live edit objects or BB show live edit objects, you can open up that area to access a few different landscaping items. And anyways, I really love how those planters look, and I think it just brings the whole container house together. And here you can see I am just adding in a few items. Now, one thing I did want to mention is it's been a little while since I have done a voiceover. I have been just pretty busy, and then of course after being busy I was under the weather, so I mentioned a couple videos back that I actually got married recently, and so my partner and I eloped, and we actually had our sort of wedding reception just this past week, and so it was pretty busy getting things all prepared for that, but it was a really lovely time, and definitely glad to have it over with because it is pretty stressful planning something like that, but really, really nice to see all my family and kind of celebrate with everybody and my partner. So yeah, anyways, that's just kind of a life update from me. Here I have had a lot of difficulties with the placement of these cabinets, but I actually end up changing them back. But anyways, it all worked out. And one thing I do want to mention, I did say I'm under the weather, or I was under the weather, but I'm still currently feeling really congested and kind of having a scratchy throat. So definitely apologize if that comes through a bunch in this voiceover. I'm definitely doing my best, but it is difficult when for a voiceover, all I need is my voice to be fine, and that's like the only thing that's still a little bit like holding on to being sick. I feel fine, but I sound sick. So you could see we finished up the kitchen, and I really like how this kitchen turned out. This was such a fun build because it was more industrial style for me, and I wanted to use a lot of different patterns. I just thought like an adventure sim would be kind of adventurous with the patterns and all that, so I wanted to add that in. And so I use blue as kind of my main color, and it's actually because I started out with that snowboard console table when I first did this build, and I really liked how that console table looked. So I wanted to grab colors from that, and I was able to use like those awesome chairs from high school years that have that fun pattern on them. And I think it ended up matching really nicely with the blue couch. And you can see the TV room is just about finished. I was really happy with the layout of this build. I think I was able to fit everything in just perfectly. And it just feels so cozy and nice, and how it all came together, I'm just so happy with. And again, like using items like those skateboards, never would have touched them, never would have thought to use them in a build. And even the new basketball with the signed baseball cap, never really would have had a reason to use that. And so it was fun to just be able to use it. And I think they're really cool items. So I'm just so happy with how it all came together. And all the little items I was able to use. Oh, and I mentioned I was going to point out the climbing ropes, climbing gear that was on the wall, but it's on the opposite wall here. Hopefully you'll see it when I move on over to the bathroom. But that was the item that inspired this whole build. And I think I did that item pretty proud. I think it turned out to be a cool build. So we're moving on to the bathroom, which means we are just about finished with this build. So I want to thank you so much for watching and supporting my little channel here on YouTube. It just means so much to me, and I'm really happy to be back and doing voiceovers, and hopefully I'll just get better from here. So thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Bye.